Baby, if there's one story that's had a million twists and turns, it's the one involving the death of Romeca Meek, her baby daddy Carlos Lososway, and his girlfriend Quadasia Johnson, aka Holly Johnson. Lord, imagine dropping your son off to school and his dad's other baby mama shows up and takes your life. That's the tragic story of Romeca Meek, who was involved in a physical altercation with another woman shortly after she dropped her son off at school in the Windy City's South Loop neighborhood. And the woman her at close range as she was held in a headlock by the baby daddy in public.
She's the one who shot her.
The deadly happened this morning right here along Romeca near State after loved ones of the victim say she had just dropped her son at school.
Okay, when this story first broke, there were reports that the baby daddy was the one who ordered the hit, that he had been aggressive towards Romeca before she had even had a restraining order against him. Well, that was what was initially reported. But now the story is that Holly and the baby's father were the ones who dropped the kid off at school, and Romeca was bringing his lunch, and she's the one who got aggressive, and the other woman acted in self-defense. And guess what? Holly was released soon after being arrested, and the case is allegedly closed. Yes. Oh, it gets worse, loves. People are now saying that the streets are not going to handle anything, and they obviously let her out because there's more to the story we don't know about. And after doing a bit of digging, I came across reports saying that the perpetrator had a protection order against Romeca, and she has a ton of videos of Romeca threatening and coming for her. Some people are even saying that the authorities would not have released that girl if she was in the wrong. And others said they saw the videos where Meeks was very aggressive and stalking baby mama number 2. Just when I thought it couldn't get any messier, I saw some witnesses claiming that both the second baby mama and the baby daddy were in individual cars. And that begs the question, why would they go to the school in individual cars? Is it possible that they actually set up the attack and orchestrated it to look like self-defense? Told you, there's been quite a twist. So how about we just get right into it? So like I said, what was initially reported in the news was that authorities said Romeca had just left her son's school in South Loop when she crossed paths with Holly, identified as the mother of her child's father's other children, and what began as a heated exchange quickly escalated into a physical fight. Witnesses said Holly pulled out a firearm on Romeca during the confrontation and fired at close range right in the face in broad daylight. During the altercation, her baby daddy showed up, allegedly escalating the situation instead of stopping it. And after the horrific incident, emergency crews rushed Meeks to Stroger Hospital, but it was too late and she was pronounced dead, leaving behind her younger son and a grieving family now pleading for justice. Family members, friends, and neighbors have since gathered for vigils demanding answers as they describe Romeca as a loving, devoted mother whose life revolved around her son. Based on reports, Romeca was in school working to become a nurse, and she was a devoted mother who was always there for her son. But just like that, in seconds, that poor boy lost his mom. Well, one of the most heartbreaking things about this case was that Romeca's handwritten note placed in her son's lunchbox on the morning before the incident was posted on her social media, and it went viral. In the note, she called Monday a fresh start before adding some beautiful words to her baby, saying, "You can start off strong. Always remain yourself. You're the coolest, smartest, and funniest kid I know. I love you so much and you make me so proud. Have a great day. Mommy loves you. Love, Mommy." Now, there are people who said that the incident was definitely premeditated and that the new baby mama was super jealous. Allegedly, she knew her baby daddy was still obsessed with his first baby mama because this girl was gorgeous, dressed nice, lived a wonderful life, and was an amazing mother who managed to leave the crazy baby daddy. Based on reports, Romeca had endured extreme narcissism from Carlos, and she was just happy living a life far from him. Actually, in a petition online, there were highlights about how the untimely death serves as a glaring reminder of the DV crisis that too often remains hidden behind closed doors. The petition noted that the time has come for our community and our leaders to take a stand against the DV that threatens the fabric of our society. It also noted how we must take proactive measures to prevent such tragedies from recurring and called upon local law enforcement and government officials to rigorously investigate Romeca's incident, ensuring that justice is served swiftly and fairly, because this is a matter of utmost importance to restore faith in the community in the safety of our neighborhoods and our schools. Furthermore, it urged for the expansion of DV awareness programs and increased funding for resources that support those who have have been affected by offering education and refuge to dismantle the cycle and protect those at risk. Then it concluded by saying that no one should live in fear in their own home, and no child should lose their parents because of such an incident. But the story doesn't end there, and this is where the community outrage grew louder. Police confirmed that the woman accused of pulling the trigger was taken into custody, but just days later, she was released without charges, despite witnesses insisting they saw exactly what happened. Actually, in one clip that made rounds online, you can actually hear Holly boldly declaring that she's licensed to carry. Witnesses also shouted that the man had Romeca in a headlock right before she was shot. Then there was another woman who was heard demanding that the police arrest the woman, claiming that she saw what she did to Romeca and then placed the firearm in her car. Okay, from the onset, it really doesn't make sense that Holly would just attack Romeca at her son's school, right? Well, apparently that's because there's another side to the story. According to people close to the situation, this is how the events unfolded and why Holly is not facing any charges in connection with the death of Romeca Meek. Sources say that Quadeja did not drive from Wisconsin that morning. Instead, she was already at Carlos's house, and they had gone together to drop off Carlos and Romeca's son at school. Reports claim that Romeca returned to the school to bring her son lunch, and upon seeing Quadeja, confronted her, and what followed was a physical altercation. Quadeja is said to have had an open order of protection against Romeca at the time, and the sources allege that Romeca was the aggressor, and during the fight, Quadeja struck back. But here's where things get murky and messier. Other witnesses have come forward with a different story, claiming that both Quadeja, the second baby mother, and Carlos, the child's father, actually arrived at the school in separate cars. And that detail has raised eyebrows online. People are now asking, why would they need to take individual cars if they were coming from the same house? Could that mean something more? Was it just coincidence? Or did they deliberately set the stage for what unfolded? Guys, this speculation has fueled an even bigger theory, that maybe this wasn't just a fight gone wrong, but potentially an orchestrated setup designed to look like self-defense. Well, the family members are not interested in whatever allegations are making rounds, and as far as they are concerned, someone has to be held responsible. In fact, the mom said during the memorial that the son is devastated and hasn't spoken to anybody, and they just want justice. Personally, I'm just in shock about how this case is tangled in contradictions and unanswered questions. Witness accounts don't line up, legal details like the order of protection complicate things further, and the viral videos only add fuel to the fire. Was Romeca really the aggressor that day, or was the confrontation something more? Did Quadeja truly act out of fear, or was this a situation that had been brewing for much longer? And then comes the bigger, darker speculation. Could this have been premeditated? With people claiming Quadeja and Carlos showed up in separate cars, some are even asking whether the baby daddy himself might have orchestrated the attack, ordering the hit and disguising it as self-defense. So many angles, so many theories, but very few concrete answers. Was this a tragic fight that spun out of control, or a calculated setup from the very beginning? Has the case really been closed? Child, until more evidence comes out, all anyone can do is speculate and demand justice for Romeca Meek. But meanwhile, let me know what you think about how this case is unfolding in the comments section below.